Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk Live here on this Saturday early edition. We have some huge breaking news. And one of the things I wanted to do when we started this channel over a year ago was to have the ability to jump on when there is something, a big, major entertainment, in this case, obviously dealing with film story. And we have it here on this Saturday evening. It is Jonathan Majors arrested in New York City. And you talk about an actor who has really had, you talk about a meteoric rise. You're talking about Jonathan Majors, right? This year, to go from Ant-Man and Kang to Creed 3, and now we have this arrest today in New York City. Let's go over what we know. This is from TMZ. Clearly it happened. TMZ, I'll tell you what, people make fun of TMZ, but one thing they usually do is they get it right. And here is the update as of about an hour ago. Allegedly, here's what happened in the lead up to this. Per our law enforcement sources, police were told that the alleged victim is Major's girlfriend. According to her, they got into an argument while in a taxi returning home from a bar in Brooklyn. Our sources say the police were told the girlfriend saw another woman texting Majors and she confronted him trying to sneak a peek at his phone. We're told the alleged victim girlfriend claims that got Majors mad, allegedly grabbed her hand, allegedly slapped her. We're also told the alleged victim claims he put his hands around her neck during this. Our sources say the woman was dropped off somewhere and that Majors spent the night elsewhere. It appears the girlfriend went to police the following morning, this morning, Saturday, and reported a crime. So he's arrested in New York City this weekend, according to police, accused of putting his hands on a woman. Apparently, according to the latest update, his girlfriend. But Majors' team is calling it BS. So they have responded now saying that none of this is true, none of it's accurate. So we got a he said, she said right now. But I'll tell you, listen, when you look again at Jonathan Majors, you're talking about a guy who is as hot as it gets in Hollywood right now. And the fact that he is now under arrest or has gotten out of jail essentially here in New York City posting bail is the assumption. We have, this is about as big as it gets because you're talking about an actor who later this year has another film coming in Magazine Dreams that Searchlight just purchased at Sundance with the hopes of him being a Best Actor contender come this fall. They gave it a December release date, so they expect this to obviously be a player and him be a player with Magazine Dreams. And now we're talking about a situation where this is bad, obviously. This is really bad for Jonathan Majors and for his reps. And by the way, he did sign with William Morris earlier in 2022. William Morris, one of the biggest agencies out here in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. Okay, you got CAA, William Morris, and others, Endeavor. I think William Morris is with Endeavor now. But look here, he signed with William Morris. And they talk about being in production of Magazine Dreams. This is a guy whose career is on fire, and he is now in major trouble. Comment here away as you wish as we look for more details on this. But essentially, the latest here from TMZ is that his rep says he did nothing wrong. Well, of course, that's what's going to come out. But if you look at the allegation, apparently the girlfriend has marks on her face, a laceration behind the ear, redness, marks of the face, taken to an area hospital, stable condition. He was cuffed, taken to jail. Police felt there was enough evidence for probable cause. So obviously that is really problematic. And we hear he's currently out of custody, so he got sprung out. But listen, I mean, this is just a crazy story here on a Saturday. I mean, that's why we're here, because this is the kind of thing that that is going to change the trajectory, possibly here, of Hollywood's hottest actor of the moment in Jonathan Majors. SK2002, thank you for the super chat. Right off the bat here, feels like Will Smith 2.0. When people are at the highest point, one can fall from grace. It doesn't take much to lose it all. And we saw that. It's a great point here with Will Smith and what happened, obviously, at the Oscars last year. Jonathan Majors again, as hot as any actor that we have seen, as meteoric a rise. You go back to Jonathan Majors and you look at The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and then you go from that point, and I believe was that 18? You look at the past, 4 or 5 years, it doesn't sound like, it's like overnight. It's not overnight. It never is. Okay. In Hollywood, it's never overnight. But still, that's a really short time span to go from, a small A24 indie film to boom. He is, the leading man in magazines. He is in multiple films this year, really pushing for an Oscar later this year with Magazine Dreams. Searchlight Studio obviously picks up the film with the thinking that he can be a legitimate best actor contender. So this is a wild, wild day, to say the least. People are going to believe it even if he's innocent. And that's Mr. G movie reviews. That's the issue here too, right? So when you look at, as soon as the accusation is made, our society now is that you are guilty until proven innocent, right? It's not innocent until proven guilty. And because of that, we have a situation that his reps, William Morris and his management team, they are absolutely in a situation they never expected to be in, because everything was pointing forward, everything pointing up, and all of a sudden, boom, it has landed in their face. And yeah, Magazine Dreams it has to be. I haven't seen it yet, but when Searchlight picks up your movie, they are aware that this is going to be a player. They dated it for December, so they know yeah, I mean, obviously, yes, very, very big issue. And the thing is right. So even if Majors is cleared of all this, okay, it still is the kind of thing that's not going to go away quickly. I mean, this is right now. I'm struggling to come up with somebody who has had a bigger turnaround within the span of like 3 months, right? We are 3 months into 2023. And Jonathan Majors has gone from the pretty much the pinnacle, right? This man is as hot as it gets in Hollywood to today, this news. Now, we're saying this. None of this is obviously conviction. It has not been proven. But if there's enough evidence, which apparently is the case here, with the police taking him into custody, then obviously this is a major issue. Orist, I said on Twitter, I'm waiting for all the facts to come out. DV is disgusting act in regards to Hollywood. You never know anything. I mean, we don't know any of these people, right? You don't know anybody behind the scenes, and you just never know. But I think it's a great point with that first comment that we had here in the super chat is look at a Will Smith. You look at someone whose career is going forward, someone who is all points are moving up, and this is someone who is as hot as it gets, and now for this to happen. I mean, this is a crazy situation here. I mean, I actually got a text from a friend who's like, "Did you see what happened to Jonathan Majors?" I'm like, "No, what happened to Jonathan Majors? You kidding me? The biggest star in Hollywood right now, the biggest up and coming star. I don't think that's not hyperbole, guys. That's 100% true." Let's go through this one more time for those of you just joining the stream. Arrested in New York City, assaulting a woman. A rep says he's done nothing wrong. Let's go to the story first, then to the update. So he's arrested in New York City this weekend, according to police, accused of putting his hand on a woman. And law enforcement sources tell us the actor was booked Saturday morning on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment. Cops responded to a call about 11 o'clock in the morning near the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan. We're told the alleged victim in the case relayed to police that Majors had gotten into a dispute with her and proceeded to attack her. Exact relationship is unknown. So here's the thing. The sources tell TMZ, who have very good sources, that the alleged victim had visible injuries, including a laceration behind her ear, redness, and marks to her face. So clearly, the cops saw the evidence, and they had the probable cause, and then he got bailed out. He's out of custody. And it says here, for those of you who don't know, Majors is a huge celeb these days. He's been in everything from Marvel's latest Ant-Man to Creed 3, other blockbusters as well in the past couple of years. The guy's gotten rave reviews for performances. I mean, listen, we don't need TMZ to tell us what's going on with that. We need TMZ to give us the information on the law enforcement stuff. We don't need to know about Jonathan Majors' career, but let's look at that. Let's look at Majors because you go back. I mean, the first thing I saw him in, I'm pretty sure the first thing he was in was The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Let's pop it up here on IMDb and we'll share the tab. Okay, so go back Jonathan Majors and we roll to, let's see, he was also in, when was The Last Black Man in San Francisco when I first saw him? That was 2019. He was in some other stuff before that, small, really small things like Hostiles. But his first big thing was Last Black Man in San Francisco. And then from there, he had some smaller things, Lovecraft Baby, Jungle Land, Defy Bloods, obviously. Harder They Fall was a big one. And then this year is really when it was like, here comes Jonathan Majors, right? Ant-Man and Creed and Magazine Dreams to Come. I'll tell you who's freaking out right now. Who's freaking out right now is Searchlight. Okay. Let's just listen. We're gonna table the heinous allegations here. We're just going to talk about the business and about Hollywood. And now you're having a bunch of people have meetings over, across town. From here, I'm in Burbank, across the way over at Searchlight Studios, which is the old Fox lot down there, right off of Pico. And they are having meetings. They are having a shitstorm of emails right now that are going, what is up? What are we going to do here? Because we just purchased this film, Magazine Dreams, with the thinking that we can make this guy a legit best actor candidate come this fall. I mean, I know we're a long way away from Oscars 2024, but the studios are very much aware of who is in the mix and who is not in the mix. And Searchlight bought Magazine Dreams with the assumption that they could make Majors a very likely best actor candidate. If he doesn't get a nomination, he's going to be way up there. That's the word from the people who've seen the film over at Sundance. I didn't see it yet. Got to wait now because it's December. It's probably the best thing they did. They got lucky as hell that they dated that thing in December. Because now at least you have a number of months. You've got 7-8 months to have this die down. And, there's a lot of parallels here. I saw on Twitter people talking about Ezra Miller. As we know, Ezra Miller with The Flash, so many times. As soon as Ezra Miller was forgotten about from one of the issues he had, here comes another one. Now, this is the first time we've had any issues with Jonathan Majors. There have been rumors, but I have not seen anything, obviously, until today. But this is very troubling. And obviously, it is a major issue for a Searchlight as they go forward with Magazine Dreams. You got to think MGM UA is like, thank God this didn't happen a few weeks ago before Creed 3. Because we all know how that film has performed extremely well. And the last thing you want when you're releasing a product into the marketplace is to have allegations like this of him strangling a woman, allegedly, leaving marks on her neck, and then getting arrested in New York City today. So it's wild, guys. I mean, it's just a wild Saturday. I'm sitting around chilling. I'm like, what is happening? Ezra Miller's going to have the biggest comeback of all time. Joey, what's interesting? I like that you brought this comment in because as much as I didn't believe that this would ever be the case, when you look at Ezra Miller and now that he's able to keep himself clean as we've been building towards The Flash, and by all accounts, The Flash is a great film, not just a good film, a great film. I've talked to people who've seen test screenings that loved it. Tom Cruise says it's one of the best DC movies. People have seen it and they love it. So they know, Warner Brothers knows this is a very good film. So Ezra Miller, I can't even believe I'm saying this here, but he did manage to rehabilitate himself. And by the time this movie comes around, the fact that he stayed clean for, we have to reset the clock. Whenever there's an accident at the place, they say at the business, it's been 300 days since the last accident. They bring it back to 0. Ezra now is like it over 100 days, which is a record for Ezra Miller. So if Ezra was able to do it, who knows? I mean, there's so many questions right now. I mean, there's no way we can look into the future and figure out what's going to happen with Jonathan Majors. We just know that this is a very serious allegation. This is the worst possible news that Searchlight could have as they get ready for Magazine Dreams. And trust me, they're already plotting that whole thing out across over at the old Fox lot there. at the 20th Century Studios. But Searchlight is one of the biggest award studios around. They know how to get their things into Oscar position, with the exception of Empire of Light this year. That didn't quite work out for him for whatever reason. I think Empire of Light's actually a decent film. Any other comments? Let's go to it. I hope it's not true. Solomon, thanks for being here on the Saturday night. But that they say innocent till proven guilty. A lot of people aren't what they seem. We don't know anybody. You guys don't know me. I don't know you. I mean, we don't know really what happens behind the scenes. And I think today is a reminder of that Jonathan Majors comes off as a very humble person. You go back and watch any of those red carpet interviews from Ant-Man or from Creed 3, and he just seems really down to earth and very chill and just seems like a very thoughtful person. And then comes this. I mean, the scary part is you get alcohol involved with anybody, and you have a situation where something can happen, right? Now, that said, I've never put my hands on a woman and choked her, okay? I'm not suggesting that we know for sure that Jonathan Majors did that. But when you cross that line, then you've crossed a line that is going to do heavy damage to your career. I mean, if the allegations are true, if it turns out that the story that this woman is putting forth is true, and it's proven in court that it's true, Jonathan Majors is going to go from the biggest meteoric rise to the biggest fall. I mean, it's going to be literally like rocket shot down, flat, bam. That is unheard of. And I think that's the most compelling part of this story, is to see an actor whose trajectory has just gone straight up and now is really just taking a major dive here today with this breaking news. I see Jonathan Majors just did a commercial for the U.S. Army. I just saw it during the March Madness. He is hot. He is really hot. So that's why this is such a big deal. Twitter won't accept Ezra again. Listen, you're talking to the guy who was probably one of the most vocal people about Ezra Miller, and you can't let him back near the Flash. But now that he's been able to keep himself clean, I don't know, man. If the movie's a huge hit, maybe we do let Ezra Miller continue on as the Flash. Because if the movie's as good as I'm being told it is, then why wouldn't we maybe at least consider it? Zaslav has to be, and I even thought that it would never happen, but yet here we are, 100%. So this is just a wild Saturday. I mean, listen, are you talking about Ezra Miller? Or are you talking about Jonathan Majors? His career's not over. Listen, guys, we don't know the details. Whether these are allegations. Now, granted, these are bad allegations. No, I mean, what's being said here is terrible. I mean, if this happened, then this is heinous. This is not the kind of thing that he's going to be able to brush under the rug and to move on. That's not what's going to happen. I'm accused of putting his hands on a woman and leaving visible scars, visible injuries, laceration behind the ear, redness, marks of the face, taken to area hospital, stable condition. So, I mean, there's your proof, right? So unless she did this to herself, which is bizarre, but let's just say to throw everything in there, then this is looking really bad for Jonathan Majors here on this Saturday night. And, I'm telling you, the very first thing I thought of was Searchlight and Magazine Dreams and this film that they literally dated days ago. Was it Thursday or Friday? They said, hey, Magazine Dreams coming out in December. And we're all like, oh, why? Why we have to wait? Well, first of all, here's why Searchlight, I don't think they knew this was going to happen this weekend. But when Searchlight shoved this to December, it's a smart play. And I'll tell you why. It debuted at Sundance. People are talking about it, Magazine Dreams, Jonathan Majors. Now what you need is a cooling off period. And then, well, now we really need one. But let's just assume Jonathan Majors is not arrested in New York City today. You need that break so that when they reintroduce Magazine Dreams in December, it feels fresh, and we can then cement Majors as our best actor candidate, which Searchlight, trust me, knows how to get done. But now, who knows? We don't even know where this thing is going. But I'll tell you this. This is not something that's going away Monday, Tuesday, when it's not going away quickly. Okay. Whatever he's working on right now, whatever Jonathan Majors, let's pull up his thing. Let's see what he's doing right now, because it should have upcoming. Here it is. Here's his upcoming. So his upcoming right now for Jonathan Majors, he has Avengers Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, and then some other things that are pre-production. Listen, Kevin Feige is freaking out. I mean, you talk about somebody who's like, oh my God. Think about the importance of Kang going forward. And now you have this. Now, remember the night that Will Smith and the Slap, I came on the stream and I told you guys exactly what was going to happen. All the productions that had anything to do with Will Smith were going to be put on pause. Everything was going to be put on hold, and we are going to see what happens here. And I'm telling you now, Feige, whatever they're doing as far as, the next Kang adventure, whatever he's involved with, whatever they're shooting now, they are on hold. Everything is on hold until they figure out the situation. So what Jonathan Majors has done essentially is, you think about one person and the ripple of what their decisions are away from work. You look at all the people that are employed around the films going forward with Marvel, with Kang involved. When you look at Searchlight with Magazine Dreams, all those people have to say, time out, we are in limbo. They're in the space where they can't really proceed forward until this thing gets settled. And the deal is this is not going to court on Monday. It's not going to court on Tuesday. That's why this is going to be limbo for months now. And the fact that this is all over the place and TMZ's reporting it, he's got to virtually disappear for a while. So whatever he was going to do on Monday, he is not going to do. Right? This is the kind of allegation that shows get put on hold. They get put on hiatus. Movies stop shooting because we don't know what's going to happen. If this continues and he gets convicted of this, then what do you do? What do you do with Kang? You recast? I don't even know where you'd start, but I can tell you right now, phone calls are being made by Kevin Feige, the entire Marvel team, along with everyone over at Searchlight working on Magazine Dreams. At least the movie's done there. They can say, hey, we at least gave it a December release date. We got some time here. We can figure this thing out. But if you're shooting something with Jonathan Majors, you are now not shooting on Monday. It is in limbo. Let's see what THR has right now, because I'm just looking at the TMZ. So let's go to THR and get the latest from them and see if they have any extra, because they have very good reporters, along with Variety, obviously, and Deadline. They're all very good. Let's start with THR, Hollywood Reporter. Clear out some ads. Here we go. Jonathan Majors arrested Saturday after being accused of assaulting a woman during a domestic dispute, NYPD said in a statement. Rep for the Creed 3 actor told the reporter he has done nothing wrong. We look forward to clearing his name and clearing this up. Now, a rep would very likely be one of his agents, if not his head agent over at William Morris, in one of the biggest agencies here in town, along with CAA. They're probably the top two. ICM's up there as well, but huge agency. Police say he responded to a 911 call in an apartment in Chelsea where a 33-year-old male was involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old female. Victim informed police she was assaulted. Woman sustained minor injuries to her head and neck, taken to the hospital. Arrested on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment. No longer in police custody. Of course, he got sprung out. I mean, that wasn't going to last long. His relationship with the woman is described as only domestic. They said girlfriend, TMZ did. And then it goes on to say he has him headlining Avengers Kang Dynasty, dated for May 2nd, 2025. So right now, you're about 2 years out from that, which means they're probably about ready to start shooting. I mean, that takes a long time. I don't know what the shoot schedule is on that. But obviously, it takes a long time to shoot those films. So they might be getting ready to do that. And then there they talk about Magazine Dreams and Harder They Fall. Devotion was last year, a Lovecraft Country, and then you go back to, of course, The Last Black Man in San Francisco. But listen, the thing is the crazy thing is that this affects so many people, and especially a Marvel. That has him in the middle of this Kang, the centerpiece of the film going forward, and now he is under arrest and was, and now he's bailed out. Let's go here and go to Variety and see what they have here. Virtually the same stuff is my guess. Let's see. Representative for Majors denied allegations. He's done nothing wrong, according to police statement. So it happened this morning, 11:15 this morning, 911 call. And apparently she was TMZ saying that he was on his phone getting texts from another woman, and she was like, "Oh no, you're not. Let me see your phone." Not that any of us have been there before. Not to make fun of the situation, but no, can't see my phone. And then he allegedly put his hands around her neck, and I'm just telling you guys, it's really bad. I mean, this is a really, really terrible situation. Get well, 10. Welcome to the channel. Kang Dynasty meant to start shooting early next year. So right now, I appreciate. Listen, we got to have some fun too. I mean, this is a very serious situation. We also have to, Kyle. This is good. I'm not the only person who liked Ant-Man 3. You guys suck. Kyle, you're terrible. But I mean, listen, it's just the kind of situation that is mind-boggling because it affects so many people. And if they haven't started shooting, which makes sense, then they've got some time. But the next few months are just going to be wild because again, this isn't going away anytime soon. This is a major allegation. He was arrested. So what do? If you're a Marvel, you just go, we need to figure out our backup plan. That's what Marvel has to do right now. That's what Feige's on the phone right now. Kevin Feige's on the phone right now talking to agents at CAA, at William Morris, and ICM, and all the, hey, listen, our Kang, do you have somebody who else could be, hey, I got a great idea. Let's bring in Michael B. Jordan. He can be Kang. I mean, there's definitely those calls are being made, because if he is convicted of what he's accused of here today, you cannot have him be Kang going forward. Audiences will not go for that. Now, you're going to go right to Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller, and this is the crazy thing about Ezra Miller, and I can't wrap my head around this. Do you remember, as COVID was just getting underway, Ezra Miller choke slams that girl in the bar over in, what was it, Iceland? Somewhere. He choke slammed her. I mean, we saw the video. It was like, what the hell? And somehow Ezra Miller survived that. So as I tell you that you'd have to recast Kang because of what happened with Jonathan Majors, we have video of Ezra Miller choke slamming a woman in a bar, and he's going to be in The Flash. So I don't even know what makes sense anymore. The fact that Ezra Miller wasn't canceled for slamming a woman in a bar to the floor like The Undertaker is insane. I mean, how does that happen? I don't understand it. So maybe Jonathan Majors does. Just think about that. Let me see if I can find the video. Let's see if we can find Ezra Miller choke slamming the woman. Let's see if I can choke slamming. Here it is. Okay, here it is. TMZ. This is it. Let's go to TMZ and let's fire it up. So if you haven't seen the video, this is Ezra Miller appearing to choke slammer. Check this out. Let me zoom in.
Learn it.
Oh, yeah. So there he is. There's the woman. Now watch this. Watch this. He grabs her.
Whoa, bro.
Okay, now it might not quite be The Undertaker, but he still is physically grabbing her. Like, that's not a joke, right? When he grabs her, her face is like, holy shit, you're literally grabbing me and you're joking me and throwing me to the ground. Look at her face. Her face is like, oh, and then he literally forces her to the ground. And Ezra Miller's going to be in The Flash. I mean, how do you defend what you just watched? Let's watch it one more time. I mean, that's the thing that's crazy is this
Did
is
you want
video.
to fight? Is that what you're doing?
It's like, dude.
Oh, bro. Wanna fight?
And his buddy's like, bro. Yeah, I'd say.
Learn it.
I mean, let's look. Okay, here's a question for you. She was pregnant? Here's a question for you. If this is video of me, this instead of Ezra Miller, it's me. Am I ever going anywhere in the world? That's the thing. If any of us do what Ezra Miller does in this video and choke slams the woman, who apparently they said is pregnant too. I mean, what? What world do we live in? But he's here. I guess he's a protected species, Fletcher. So as we say that Majors could be done, it didn't end Ezra Miller's career. And then of course he breaks into houses and steals bottles of vodka. And Ezra Miller though is alive and well because he's kept himself clean for what's the day count on that? Someone have it? Is it like 100 days? 100 days Ezra has not done anything. Listen, we're having fun here because we need to. Because the allegations against Jonathan Majors are shocking. I mean, that's the reaction I had when I got this text. Joey, he's in a hospital in Vermont. Well, he's got to be somewhere that he's not able to get out because obviously Ezra Miller, like in the wild, is not a good thing. So maybe he is locked up in a hospital. I mean, I'm not doing that to make fun of it. I'm just saying there has to be an explanation because he has been able to keep himself out of the issue. Yeah, I mean, he is. Ezra's part of the LGBT. Yes, but I mean, is that the reason? I hope not. I hope that there's no such thing as a protected person when you choke slam somebody like he did in this bar. So, recapping here, let's watch Ezra one more time as he grabs the woman and literally throws her on the ground there. And then we don't see it, but that was bad. That's bad. Okay, there's no other way around that. It's really bad. All right, let's go back to TMZ one more time and do a recap of the latest on Jonathan Majors. So Jonathan Majors, for those of you just joining, arrested in New York City, assaulting a woman. Rep, of course, saying he did nothing wrong. Apparently happened in was it a cab? Hold on, where does it say here? Alleged victim related to police. Majors got in a dispute with her. One of the stories says that he was looking at his phone. He got a message from another woman, and then she was like, "Let me see the phone." He's like, "No," and he put his hands on her neck. Apparently, the laceration behind the ear, redness marks her face. Taken to area hospital, stable conditions. But this is just wild. And I think the thing is, I'm sorry, that's my bad. Here's the thing, though. They are practicing for flash fight scenes, I guess. I mean, there is that. But here's the thing, is that now we are in a wait and see situation. I mean, now we're just going to get the reps denying that Jonathan Majors did what he did. And then we have, of course, the studios going, what the hell are we going to do? Starting with Marvel, who have the biggest issue because they have Kang as the centerpiece of their upcoming films. And if you don't have Kang, then you have to recast Kang. And that's the last thing they want to do because that's going to be weird for everybody. But it's also going to be weird for everybody if Jonathan Majors is convicted of choking this woman over the text and then allegedly, and then he is Kang. So you have to like put like a 6-month hiatus on the shoot because think about this. To adjudicate, it's going to take a while. It's not going to, again, not tomorrow, unless the charges are dropped, but then she has to drop them. But then remember, the police see the mark and they see all the, they see the mark behind the ear, choke, whatever the actual physical, evidence is. So even if she drops it, the police are like, but we see what happened, that's the wild thing about law. And I need someone to explain this to me. Is that let's just say that if this had happened, and we know this happens, it could have happened with Ezra Miller with the woman in the bar with the choke. If you get into a problem and you want to shut someone up, and we've seen this over the years with so many celebrities, right? Like, let's use Bill O'Reilly, right? Remember Bill O'Reilly? Behind the scenes, what a scumbag. You can say in front of the scenes too, use that too if you want. But behind the scenes, he's paying women like millions of dollars so he can like send them sexually suggestive texts and shit like that. But he pays them off. So, we see a lot of this happen in Hollywood where someone does something terrible and all of a sudden it's like charges were dropped. Because you know what happened? A gigantic deposit was placed in someone's bank account. Because think about this. Because of Jonathan Majors' actions right now, based on what happened, you are now putting a multi-billion-dollar franchise in a bad space. Forget about, listen, guys, you need to understand what we're doing here. We're talking about, not about Jonathan Majors and what he allegedly did to the woman, but think about the ramifications, right? The creative ramifications of this are Marvel is screwed because they don't have their Kang for their film that they need for the next two major films that they're hoping are billion-dollar plus, more than likely will be billion-dollar plus films. So you don't think that in Hollywood, someone would make a deposit to keep someone quiet? Of course that happens. At this point, though, you can't even do that because she called police. The whole situation now is there. You can't hide it now that it's out. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, right? So now that it's there, there's no way out of this other than for there to be some kind of trial. I mean, help me, is someone out here in the legal, who's a lawyer for me? Can she drop charges now that she has been, the police see the physical evidence of her getting allegedly choked and the damage, the scratch, the choke mark, whatever the details were. Hold on, let me get it one more time. So once they see the laceration behind the ear, the redness, marks to her face, right? Which shouldn't be there. You shouldn't have marks on your face or a laceration behind your ear unless, your cat scratched you, your dog bit you in the ear. Otherwise, you shouldn't have those things. And as such, can she just drop the charges? I don't know. But it's bad. It's really bad. Hold on, let me see. Give me a second. I'm gonna read. I got a direct message on Twitter. Let me get it. I can't show you guys the tweet on that. Would be bad. That would be ruining a source. So give me a second. Let me look. Okay, I got it here. Hold on. Okay. All right. So this is from. Okay. Let's see if I can find this. Tim. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in so you don't see who it is. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna since we're in the interest of showing everything, this is from a direct message, and again we're just showing you everything. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to say this is all true or not true. This is a tweet now. Okay, so this is a tweet, direct message someone sent to me, so I can see it here. I could obviously go find the tweet if I wanted to, from Tim Nikolai. And here's what Tim has to say. I'm just going to say this about Jonathan Majors and be done with it. Folks at Yale and the broader NYC community have known about him for years. He's a sociopath and an abuser, and that is how virtually everyone speaks about him. It's a shame it took this long for him to be reported. Whew. I mean, the thing here's the reality. So I don't know who Tim Nikolai is. Hold on, let's find out who he is. Let's look up who Tim Nikolai is. Give me 1 second. Let me go to Tim Nikolai. Tim Nikolai. Okay, here he is. It looks like. Hold on, let me see if I can find him. Let's see what his bio is. Here it is. Okay, so I got it. So here's Tim Nikolai, and doing the investigative journalism. Okay, here it is. Thank you for the direct message, by the way. Actor, director, producer, founder. Okay, so here it is. So let's look. Here's the whole thread. I'm just going to say this about Jonathan Majors. Be done with it. Folks at Yale and the broader NYC community have known about him for years. He's a sociopath, abuser. This is how virtually everyone speaks about him. It's a shame it took this long to be reported. I've already seen a bunch of, why didn't you do anything? Folks, people have tried. Ultimately, you need a victim to come forward. It's both simultaneously awful to know he is still doing this, in a relief that he may never get to again. A bunch of us are close with people, and sometimes multiple people he has directly harmed. I don't know if they will speak on it. It's completely their decision. Probably going to delete this when it turns into an act of harassment, which is inevitable on here. It won't matter. I'm sure other folks are already verifying. Jennifer Grady jumps in. I would delete this or be prepared to back it up with facts and not I heard because that's a serious charge. Literally, people, he did this to are texting me right now. It's not I heard. Wow. Define broader New York City community. Theater folks, lots of NYC, Juilliard, Yale grad people, 2012, 2017, which is when he was there. I can't believe anyone is believing this without credible proof. You all are clowns. Listen, man, I know Twitter's screaming into a void. These are real people it happened to. It's their decision, not mine, to publicly air what happened to them. Frankly, I'd just say give it a week. And then someone says, look, white America doing what's best. I mean, let's hope that that's not what's happening here. I mean, I hope that's not what Tim is saying here. This is the problem though, right? So the reality is that when people feel it's safe to come out and to go after somebody, and a great example of this is Kevin Spacey. As soon as the force shield is lowered and there is an opportunity to say, hold on, this is my experience with the situation, with the person, they are going to take advantage of that because they say, now I wanted to say this, but now that it feels like it's time, I will come forward. So think about that. The psychology of it makes a lot of sense, that now people are saying, well, Jonathan Majors, now that this is out, maybe I can come forward with my story about the situation. Pilgrim Media, again, it's up to the prosecutor's office. Okay, so will they but so Tim Nicolai, who apparently knows, listen, I would hope that this, whoever Tim is an actor and all these things. I would hope to God that he's not right, a sociopath himself and making things up, right? Let's just assume he's not. Let's assume he's a straight up normal dude and he's just coming forward to say, this is my experience with Jonathan Majors, okay? If that's the case, then we are in a big heap of trouble obviously for Jonathan Majors, but for Marvel, for Searchlight. Now, I understand that the number one priority is obviously making sure that this doesn't ever happen again, allegedly. But when we look at the business of this, the Hollywood of this, then we have to broaden it out and talk about these things beyond the actual event and how it ripples throughout the productions that Jonathan Majors is involved in. And Marvel is as big as it gets. Even if there is CBM fatigue right now, you guys know that Marvel movies still rule the world. And when they get back on track, which I would assume might start to happen with Guardians 3, then Marvel's feeling better about itself and they need their Kang. So now that Kang is being outed as, well, the actor playing Kang might be a lot like Kang, that's really bad for Marvel. A multi-billion-dollar company and Disney behind them. So this is really bad, right? And then when you start getting things like this, Tim Nicolai, by the way, it's taking off. I mean, this thing. So look at the views. The views keeps going up on this tweet. It's at 583,000. And that is, so, 500,000 plus have already seen this tweet. And it keeps going. Let's read some of the quotes. I always like to read the quotes. These major franchises really need to do background checks for casting these dudes. I mean, it's not a bad point, Clark. But we don't know. Oh, he's done over here. Oh, WTF. Mess. After reading all this, yikes, I'm truly out of words now because this is terrible. This man needs serious help. Sounds like he's doing bad shit for years. And it's getting, these things are, so generally, the comments are, this is bad. Because if we take what this Tim is saying on face value, this is bad, right? This is assuming that he's telling the truth. And I hope that, again, let's hope that we're not dealing with people that are making shit up. That would probably be, maybe. We don't know. That's the thing. We are in a weird spot, right? So we don't know any of this stuff. We don't know what Tim's story is with Jonathan Majors. Maybe Jonathan Majors took his girlfriend back in the day. We don't know. We honestly do not know any of this stuff. That's the crazy part. We just get all these things throwing all these angles in here, and you're just trying to make sense of it all. What about Marvel paying off this angle, laying low, then start shooting and making Kang a really, really Superman? That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's bad for Marvel, but if it happened after they shot the Avengers movie, it would be, yes, that's true. Sleepy Skunk, I agree, 100%. Gold star for that. Yeah, if this was in the middle of production, it would be 10 times, 50 times worse. But the fact they've already introduced Kang and had that, and now you got a new Kang, that's not going to be good. It's just going to be strange. I mean, Marvel's having emergency meetings tonight. There's no question whatsoever that is what is happening down in Manhattan Beach at the studios for Marvel, and certainly down the street here from me, where I can walk down to Disney. They are saying, listen, guys, I'll see you in the office in 15 minutes. Get there, and we're going to have, all of us are in the room. We are meeting right now to talk about the future of all of this. And exactly, Paul, that's the thing. Once the floodgates open, when a Tim Nikolai, and I'm sure there's more, right? It's not just him. There's going to be other people that start popping forward, because the reality is that if you come forward with these allegations about Jonathan Majors 5 days ago, people are going to go, shut up, Tim. You don't know what you're talking about. Why are you attacking him? He's a good person. And now, like I said, as soon as the force field's down, we are attacking. And here's Tim. And there's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more. Listen, let's just take just a moment to say it's a shame from a talent perspective. And listen, remember, I'd like doing this. I do it a lot at MMT. For those of you just joining us for the first time, we divorce two things, right? I've talked about Harvey Weinstein and the things he did right, okay, and simultaneously acknowledge that he's a vile piece of shit. So you see what I'm saying? So we're able. So let's just, for a moment, let's take the talent that Jonathan Majors has. It's a shame when we look at what he brings to the table. We're going to lose that. Okay. Now, remember, we're separating two things. We're only talking about the talent. So I think that's part of the fascination with what's happening here tonight, is that you have someone who's very good at what he's doing, and he has a physical presence that you're just blessed with. That's what Jonathan Majors brings to the table. And I think he's also a strong actor who's getting better. But physically, he just has the it factor, and you're going to lose that. And I think that, just from a talent perspective, it's a shame. Okay. But, obviously the stuff off the field, none of it matters beyond that. Because, when someone is doing things like this, allegedly, and Tim Simone, 100%, he risked a lot for the Post. Very brave. It is tough, right? It's very tough to say this. If you're Tim, he's going to get attacked. I mean, he's going to say, this is my time. I wanted to say this, and now I'm going to do it. He's now going to get attacked by people, as you see, where they come in here and they say, delete this. Be prepared to back it up with facts and not I heard. And it's just ugly, right? When someone comes in there, I mean, listen, I've been in those situations where you report something and go, you don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't have any sources. What are you talking? And you're like, yes, I do. And here's what it is. I can't tell you that. I mean, we don't know Tim's experience. Obviously he knows him. I would hope he would not come on Twitter and say these things has happened before and all that. No, that would not be a normal thing for a person to do. But I understand not everybody runs, their life like, here's another, hold on. I just got another direct message. Just another person, AB Allen. Give me a second. Let me look here. This was from before. Okay. So this is another, people sending me things, by the way. Feel free to do that. Direct message me. I will accept those on Twitter. Obviously here, if you have something, just tell me where to go. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know about this, Pilgrim. I have no idea. We don't know anything other than, I mean, obviously right now, the only thing we know is that he allegedly, and he did get arrested for putting his hands on his girlfriend. No, we're not defending Weinstein. It's not what we're doing here. We're separating two things. Jeremy Renner allegedly did some terrible things too. I mean, you're right. That's a good point. Here it is. So look, this is another tweet from, I think, before today. There's a particular actor, relatively new on the scene, who Twitter has violently fallen head over heels for, who, in actuality, is a vicious, cruel, abusive human being, both professionally and his personal life. And every new viral thirst tweet about him drives me insane. And that would seem to be speaking because here the Chateau Bunny says, now we know who this tweet was about. Obviously, yes, I would agree. That is pretty. Let's look for AB Allen. Give me 1 second. Let me find him. The breaking news for you guys. If you didn't know about me before, if I haven't told you guys, I used to be a TV news anchor. So trust me when I say I did tons of breaking news. This is what we did. We would constantly be digging as you're talking and you're looking for these things in new sources and things. So if you guys have something, bring it my way. I will absolutely use it and give credit to you guys for sure. AB Allen, hold on, give me a second. Let me see. I'm looking for this. There's a lot of stuff on here, but it's hard to find. But listen, people talk, right? So people talk off the behind the scenes. People in Hollywood. I know things about celebrities that I've never told you guys because they're said in confidence to me at events or from people that have worked directly with these people, not like a friend of a. These are people that are on the set. A great example of this, and I'll bring it out here tonight because it's a perfect example. Okay, so I have a friend of mine who has worked with Cameron. What's her name? Bure. The girl from Fuller House. So remember when she was accused of being really rude to whoever that young help me out, someone in the comments. Cameron Bure, whatever her name. She was accused of being really rude to JoJo, someone rather. I'm sorry. This is terrible. I'm going to tell you, it's all going to come together, guys. Trust me. It's all going to come together. So everyone was saying, what? Cameron, whatever her name is. She said, I'm not like that. Well, here's the thing. So I get a message from someone who knows Cameron directly. Thank you. Candace Cameron Bure. Thank you. Get well. So listen to this. This is how the information comes in. My friend who knows her well said, I don't have anything nice to say about Candace Cameron Bure. Nothing. And I wanted to tweet that for the longest time, but I didn't because everyone said, no, this JoJo. No, he or she said, if you're talking about someone who's cool, talk about DJ. Talk about not Candace. So these are the things that get told me, things off the screen. Exactly. That she's not necessarily the nicest person. So once this information starts to come out, you now have people that are going to seize on it and they're going to come out and put this stuff out there because people talk. People are very much aware that this is not news to a lot of people, right? There's things about people that you probably haven't. You're like, okay, we're just waiting for that other shoe to drop. When's it going to come out that this person's a real scumbag, right? Don't say me, guys. Don't. It's not. I swear, the craziest thing that ever come out about me, yeah, he goes to bed at 9:30 at night when he's not doing his stream. That's it. Let's get the latest on let's see what the latest trending stuff is on this whole thing. This is it's just hold on, give me a second. By the way, no one has heard that. Those of you who are here, the Candace Cameron Bure story. I mean, I don't even know these people, but these are the things that get told me, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But now I can tell you in confidence. Don't tell anybody else I told you this, that apparently she's not very nice. Okay, so Kevin Feige getting the news about Jonathan Majors. Yeah, exactly. Dante, if you're out there, I wish Dante was there. I'd bring him on the stream. Dante's amazing. Dante, if you're in the chat, I'll send you a thing. Jump in, Dante's, because this is a crazy situation. I'd bring Gore in too. If Jeff Ewing, if you're out, anyone wants to join in, one of my good film friends, feel free to jump in. Tell me you're here because I can pop you up. But here's the thing. This is bad. this is really bad. Here it is. So here's the top tweets one more time. So there we go. Uh, the Tim Nikolai tweet is going crazy. Okay, look. Okay, so look here. This is the thing about Jonathan Majors. It was known about him for years. He's a sociopath and an abuser. Boy, that doesn't get too much worse than that. It's gone from 580,000 to 800,000 views. It is climbing by the hundreds of thousands of views by the minute. Okay, and as such, this is getting worse and worse by the second. So here's the reaction of Jonathan Majors' team tonight before all this was like, we can just say it didn't happen. We can just deny it. I think they're finding out tonight that you cannot get away with this. Ben Affleck's brother, Casey Affleck, you notice how he hasn't done anything recently. He had those accusations and he's laid really low. And we're seeing it happen probably for Jonathan Majors. I mean, I don't even know. Like, if I'm Jonathan Majors' agent here, that's a lot of fun to say. Jonathan Majors' agent. You're going to say, listen, dude, you need to go into hiding. Imagine how visible Jonathan Majors was even 3 days ago. And now you're going to tell your client to go into hiding. You need to disappear. You need to take a vacation somewhere where there's no paparazzi, the middle of nowhere, and hole up there for at least a month until we get this thing figured out. They have the crisis team going from Marvel. They have the crisis team at William Morris, crisis team at Searchlight. All of these guys are all having meetings here tonight going, oh my God. And now that these stories are out there, like this Tim Nikolai, now you got to go do your due diligence. So now you got to go back and you've got to find out what other skeletons are in this guy's closet. So it's like a dam, and then it bursts, and then it's over. This could be the quickest ascent and the absolute fastest fall that we've ever seen from a celebrity. If these allegations stick, even at this moment, this is one of the biggest, the most precipitous fall from grace that we've seen within a 24-hour span. That's why I'm here doing a stream on a Saturday night when I'm normally hanging out in my pajamas, because I'm fascinated by this. What the hell is happening? This is a guy that we all expected to be. This is a great tweet, by the way, John Mayers. Nate Parker. Okay, if you guys don't remember, he had Birth of a Nation. This was back in, let me think what that was, like 2016, I want to say. So Searchlight, by the way, Searchlight's like, yeah, we have another movie that we got to deal with. They had Birth of a Nation, which was tapped to do major damage throughout Oscar season. Nate Parker was accused of sexual assault, the director. And as soon as that happened, Birth of a Nation was done. And right now, Magazine Dreams is pulled off of draft boards. You guys know when I started MMT, I told you what I love to do with movies and with Oscars is to run it almost like the NFL draft, where you're looking at prospects. So films are prospects to me. What do they do well? What areas do they excel in? And then where are we going to draft them in those areas? So when we look at someone like obviously here at Jonathan Majors in Magazine Dreams going forward here this fall with the award season, you now have to take it off the draft board, which is what they do to a prospect in the NFL draft when something comes up off the scenes, when they find out that he was accused of assault, when they find out that the prospect, did drugs back in the past. Marijuana is like no big deal now, but in the past it was a big deal. Randy Moss, marijuana slides in the draft. So right now you have to take Magazine Dreams off the board. It's no longer a viable contender at this moment. The best news for Searchlight is they dated it for December, not September, December. That gives us 8.5 months before you get that out. So we're just talking about the business of this. Right now, Searchlight has to put this on pause, Great tweet, a great comment from you, John. 100%. Nate Parker, Birth of a Nation, Searchlight. Wonderful tie in there. Really good. Majors is done, guilty or innocent. I mean, right now, here's the thing though. So remember this. In the moment, I don't care what it is, in the moment that it's happening, it will be the worst. Have you not had something happen in your life where you think at that moment it's all over? Now, this is different. This is a bigger deal. But imagine if you had whatever it is. In this case, we're saying Jonathan Majors is done. Some of you are saying that tonight. I don't believe that yet. I do believe that his stock just went from 500 and climbing to 170 and dropping. I mean, it literally dropped 300 plus points. His stock, do they still have Hollywood Stock Exchange? Because if they do, it just literally went flip. There it goes. 1,000 to literally 10. Just right now, if this is a company, the stock price is cut in half or more because it is bad. Marvel's going to drop him. Kasuma, you can't right now. He's Kang. You can't just dump him. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Okay, let's see here. There's another comment. Let's read this one. Jonathan Majors' abusive behavior being brought to light probably means it isn't at the time for jokes about method acting or creed or literally anything else you assholes. Okay, no one's making jokes. And if we are, listen, people just need to loosen up. We're not, trust us. No one's making fun of the fact that he put his hands allegedly on a woman and strangled her because she wanted his phone. Domestic abuse. I mean, this is bad. Terrible. We don't need to, I mean, obviously, hello. This is actually funny. I mean, we can do some funny things, can't we? Marvel replacing Jonathan. That's really good. Oh my God, Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder. That's good. That's a very good tweet. I gotta like that. Sorry, while I'm here, I'm just gonna go ahead and like that. I have to. It's funny. We can do that. We're allowed. Let's see what. Let me read what Deadline has going here. Deadline might have some interesting new stuff. TMZ's got the dirt. Deadline. We already did THR. We did Variety. Let's look at what Deadline has to say about Jonathan Majors. He looks forward to clearing his name. Of course he's going to say that. I mean, that's what you would, the statement that you would have issued by your publicist. Majors arrested in New York City Saturday, allegedly assaulting a woman. Preliminary investigation determined 33-year-old male involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old female. The victim informed police she was assaulted, looking for the same thing, strangulation and harassment. A rep for Majors told Deadline he's done nothing wrong. Look forward to clearing his name, clearing it up. Same stuff we saw in THR. There it is. They set the theatrical release for Magazine Dreams December 8th, and everyone expected this thing to be big. And, listen, we got to feel bad for everyone involved with Magazine Dreams. You just had your film sold to Searchlight. You know that they're going to put a major awards push on this because they gave it a December 8th date. That is right in the heart of awards season, right? It already had its debut at Sundance, but the fact that they're going to put it out in December means that we think this can be a major player. And by the way, that was proven by the fact that Searchlight bought it. Searchlight knows good films. When's the last time you watched a Searchlight film that completely sucked? It's very rare. Very rare. They have very good taste, and it's one of those studios that whenever you watch the Searchlight banner pop up, you know you're in for at least a quality film. And I would argue that Empire of Light is a good film, not a great film. The screenplay is not, but the elements are much better. In that film, it's the weirdest film I've ever evaluated. The elements of Empire of Light are all at an Oscar level, and the screenplay is so far under. So you have this bizarre situation where you have a gorgeous film that is matted to this shit screenplay, or at least a screenplay that doesn't coalesce the way that you expect it to. It doesn't the way that Mendes wanted it to. I had to look back and go, there it is. It's up on the wall. It's, by the way, Empire Light's on the very edge. It says Empire. Right on the edge of the screen, we got Empire Light up there. But Searchlight knows what they're doing, and they bought this film with the expectation that it was going to be a big deal this coming fall. And it's never too early to start talking about Oscars. You guys know that. I mean, hello, look who you're talking to. I mean, okay, let's go. Let's get the latest here. Let's go. Let's see if we can pull down some more tweets. Let me see where this thing's going now. Okay, so it's got to be almost to 1 million. So Tim Nikolai's tweet about the NYC community and all this, and this sociopath abuser. I mean, just terrible, terrible tweet for Jonathan Majors is now almost at 1 million views. As we sit here, it'll go over 1 million. That's how fast it's going. That is viral, right? That is the speed of Twitter now, which is really, if you were to ask me what is Twitter really good at, it is news. That is, they break news. You're there as fast as possible. Everyone's got a smartphone. We can go there instantly. And this is the kind of thing. Tim Nikolai is sitting around his apartment in New York City. And he's like, I'm going to throw this out here because I've been waiting to say this about Jonathan Majors. And here it is. He's a sociopath and an abuser. And imagine what that was like for Tim Nikolai. He's sitting there going, okay, now that the floodgates have opened, the force field's down, I'm going to go ahead and take my shot. So this guy said, now, okay, here's a new, it probably not, he said he's going to delete it. I don't think there's no way he deletes it now, because at this point, there's got to be other people. And if you see them, please turn them to me. Give me, if you see anything else, hit me right now. It's true, Michael. Roger Deakins elevates anything. And not just that, Reznor Ross, the score. I mean, the score of Empire Light was the best score of 2022. Forget about film, okay? Just score. Unbelievable. What a score. When you star in a big role about a villain boxing, you get accused of domestic abuse, yeah, associated with Mike Tyson. I mean, look, he meant to look like, they had him look like Mike Tyson in the movie, right? When he comes to the ring. So it's true. I mean, it's kind of like where your head goes. Like, we're comparing him to Tyson, and now he's doing Tyson-esque things. It's just such a bad place. But I think the fascination is, right? The fascination here is that we were talking about someone just days ago that we held in this regard of Jonathan Majors, the next major star. Apologies, that was definitely like the worst thing. The next huge Hollywood star, right? The kind of actor that is going to have a career that's going to expand 10 years, 15, 20 years. We're going to be talking about him in decades from now. That's what we are looking at with Jonathan Majors. And now tonight, we are looking at a fall from grace that is like, when you rubberneck at a car crash on this, you're like, what the hell am I? That's where we're at. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to process it. It's almost like a therapy session, right? It's like, what the hell was Majors wasn't thinking if this happened. That's the thing that's crazy. In this day and age, you can't be reckless. Well, listen, when you are as big a star as Jonathan Majors, when you're as big at anything, you have to watch your back. You have to really be careful about what you do. But it sounds like, according to what this Tim was saying, Tim Nikolai, this has been going on for a long time. And if that's the case, then he got away with it, right? And then we are talking about a Harvey Weinstein kind of situation, right? Think about this. Now, we're not saying that Jonathan Majors raped somebody and did all the horrible things that Harvey Weinstein, but we're going to compare it in the fact that Harvey Weinstein got away with those things for so many years. If you didn't watch She Said, if you didn't see it this year, go watch She Said. She Said is a much better film than it certainly deserved far more awards recognition than it got. But Harvey Weinstein got away with it because people look the other way. And when Tim Nikolai comes out, that's what we're talking about with Jonathan Majors, if this is true. Jonathan Majors had done this before, and the reason that he got away with it, that's why he's still, he thought he could get away with it again. You hear this with criminals all the time. We're not calling him a criminal. We're just saying in general, someone who gets busted for something, it's not the first time. They've done it a number of times because they got away with it. An abuser gets away with it over and over and over, and that's why it continues, because no one puts their foot down. But now, things like with Tim Nikolai, this tweet's terrible for him. I mean, literally terrible. Hold on, let's get the latest. I feel like that number's got to be higher. It's literally breaking. There it is, 999. So we're at 1 million. We are at 1 million. 1 million. Let's hit it one more. Let's hit refresh. I feel like I'm in The Social Network right now. Oh my God, give me a like. How good is The Social Network? One of the best movies of all time. Here it is. Let's refresh. We got to be at that number now. 1 million views. Look at that. I mean, there it is. So this tweet is doing tremendous damage to Jonathan Majors tonight. This tweet is as bad as it could be for him because it now is substantiating other allegations, saying, I know other people. And what's going to happen is, now that Tim said it, there's going to be a whole bunch of people that come out. You wait. That's how it goes. That's what happened with Harvey Weinstein, right? Watch She Said. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. That's your homework here for MMT. Every night at the end of MMT, I give you guys a homework assignment to watch a film. You need to watch She Said, okay? But watch the film. What happened with Harvey Weinstein? They all were reluctant to come forward because they were afraid they would be destroyed. Obviously, many women were by Harvey Weinstein. But once one woman came forward, it was on and then it was over. And this is what is happening with Jonathan Majors and this tweet by Tim Nicolai. This is the most fascinating thing to me. The allegations, obviously, huge, but I would love to have Tim Nichols jump on here. I would love to have him jump on. I don't think he wants to talk about it, though, Simone. I don't think he'd want to. I think that this is, when you're in the situation like this, he could be sued, okay? I'm just reporting on stuff. I'm not Tim. If you're Tim, he could be hit with some kind of lawsuit because the forces behind Jonathan Majors don't want this to be out there, right? And I think we all underestimate the forces behind the scenes. We all think that there aren't dark forces behind the scenes. Harvey Weinstein. There were people who knew about Harvey Weinstein and let him get away with it because there were dark forces behind the scenes that wanted to make money off of this. So now you have people want Tim Nicolai to shut up. They want him gone. He does not want to talk. There's no way. I'd love to have him on. I would ask him, say, tell me your thing. But he's no. This is going to be this is when Tim Nicolai talks, that's going to be everyone. Trust me, right now, having worked in news, right now, everyone is sending this dude direct messages saying, can you come on and speak on the record? Will you speak with us about this situation, about your experience with him? And he's going to say no. By the way, look at this. He has only 1,950 followers. He's going to, all of a sudden, he's going to go, I'll follow him. I don't think I can direct message him instantly. But this guy is literally in the center of the shitstorm right now. Jonathan Majors is definitely in the middle of it, but so is Tim Nicolai. Tim Nicolai right now is in his place in New York City going, oh my God, I never imagined I would be at the center of the universe like I am at this moment, because that's where he is. Let's look at the latest. It's got to be 1.1. I mean, this thing's going to, okay, it's at 1. It's going to keep climbing. You watch, in like literally 2 hours, it's going to be 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. I mean, it is going to continue to grow. But now that Tim's opened the door, just like She Said and Harvey Weinstein, guess what? Here comes a whole bunch of people that are going to push forward, and they're going to say things. Jeffrey, welcome to the channel. Josh Brolin is a domestic abuser. What's up with all these casting? I mean, remember, Hollywood has a really bad track record of looking the other way when shit happens, such as these allegations. Here's the difference, though, is that things tend to die down. So, okay, let's just throw a hypothetical in here. If this were Jonathan Majors in 2018, right after or right around the last black man in San Francisco, he would have a problem, but he might be able to let it die down. The problem here for Jonathan Majors is that now he's ascended so high, so fast, that this comes in and it becomes a situation where it is absolutely 1,000% destructive to his career, where I don't know if Marvel might tonight be having conversations about recasting Kang. I know that I know that it sounds insane, but maybe. Kuzma, the smartest move for Marvel to make right now. The good news is, if the reports are accurate that they are waiting, they haven't started on the next Kang involved thing, which is which one is it? Which film is it again? I got to go back to it. But whatever they're starting next year. The good news is they have the time. But I would say this, because I think we always discuss this on MMT. For those of you who've never been here, welcome. And this is what we do. We talk about my advice. And I feel like I have good advice in the moment. And I told Will Smith what I would do after the slap. I would have, if I was at the Oscars that night, even if I wasn't Will Smith's agent, I would have walked up to him from wherever I was sitting. I would have walked up to him and go, listen, Will, real quick. I know, listen, you need to right now go up to Chris Rock and say, I fucked up. I don't know what I was doing. That was the worst thing. In fact, I would actually interrupt the Oscars again and go, that was the dumbest thing anyone's ever done. I'm a shitty person for doing what I did. But instead, Will Smith went up there and goes, oh, no, I was defending my wife. I'm a man. He deserved that shit. And what happened to Will Smith? He's screwed. Will Smith, he had his film come out, Emancipation, went nowhere. We told Apple, don't release this movie this year. And there it is. So tonight, Erick's advice for Jonathan Majors: 1, lay low. Jonathan Majors, you are on a plane to where's the most deserted island other than Epstein Island? God, I couldn't stop. Go somewhere where you can't be seen by anybody for like literally a month. And minimum. That's the first thing. I want you out of town. I want you to get prosthetics on your face. No one can recognize you. That's number 1. You're out of there. Number 2, if I'm in the meeting with Marvel right now, if I'm Kevin Feige, I am absolutely telling everybody everything is on hold. Every single thing that we have with Jonathan Majors involved is on a timeout. We are pausing it. It's not going forward until we find out what happens as this thing proceeds, because there's no way that you can make and start a film with him in it. He can't be on the set Monday. Wherever Jonathan Majors was supposed to be on Monday, if that were a set, no matter where it was, whatever show, movie, it's canceled. He is not going on to any shows. He's on a jet to Belize, and he's disappearing for a while with prosthetics. What else can you do? Army Hammer's another great example. Army Hammer disappeared to the Cayman Islands, right? And then they tried to bring him back. Do you remember? They had that whole thing where he's taking a normal job, and then we brought him back to LA, and they're like testing the waters, and then it was like, nah, people really don't want to see Army Hammer. And then Army Hammer has to disappear again. It's like Groundhog Day for some of these celebrities when they get in these situations. You need to stick your head out of the hole, look around, and they go, nope. 6 more months of winter, and you go back in the hole, because I'm telling you that, you know who's in that right now? James Franco. James Franco stuck his head out of that hole so many times, and they go, nope, back in. And Affleck, right? Same thing. Casey Affleck sticks his head up. They're like, nope, go back away. You're going back in the hole. That's what is going to happen with Jonathan Majors, is that he is going to have to pop his head up in 6 months, and they're going to go, nope, stay down. But Franco, I agree. I think Franco's done. I think Franco's done. I agree. Because we thought, right, he was in this weird haze. Was he canceled? So we didn't know. But Franco is canceled, I would say, at this point. Even Seth Rogen was like disowning him. When your friends are disowning you, it's over. It's over, as we like to say. From Mission Impossible 7, the trailer. It's over. Yeah, he was selling timeshares, right? He was selling timeshares. If you want to jump in with the lovely, anything you want to talk about, well, as long as it's Jonathan Majors related, jump in with a super chat. Let's go and look at, okay, let's see Tim Nikolai. Where are we at here? Let's get to 1.1 million refresh. Pull over. 1.1! Here we go. We're climbing by the hundreds of thousands by the minutes. Like 5 minutes equals 100,000. 1.1. What will this number be tomorrow? Like 3 million views? It'll be insane. Okay, let's recap one more time. Back to TMZ. Let's do it from the top. Those of you just joining us. I mean, this is just fascinating. That's why I'm continuing, because I just can't believe what has happened here. This is something I never imagined we'd be talking about, let alone to a star whose ascension has been meteoric and really something we have not seen in Hollywood. Name another person, name another actor who has climbed as quickly, as highly as Jonathan Majors has in the past year and a half, 2 years. The Harder They Fall, Devotion, not a hit, but still in a major motion picture. Then, boom, Ant-Man, bang, Creed 3, boom, Kang going forward. Magazine Dreams gets purchased by Searchlight and now arrested in New York City for assaulting a woman. All right, let's get the latest. Let's go to this tab. Let's share it, and let's go and read from TMZ. Don't make fun of TMZ, by the way, guys. Don't do that, because TMZ, they have their sources in law enforcement. You know how they get their sources? Let me tell you how they get their, they pay. They pay them a lot of money. If you're in any kind of industry, like at a hotel, if you are obviously in law enforcement, if you're any kind of source that can give TMZ information, they will pay you cash. Because right now, this story is making TMZ a shit ton of money. So whatever they paid the source, let's say they paid the source $10,000. My God, the source is happy, and then boom, they get a zillion hits, and everyone's talking about TMZ. That's a good business model. Shit. I mean, look at, okay, Mr. Beast. As before we get into this, Mr. Beast looks like this benevolent person giving all this stuff away, but he turns it into views for his videos and he makes millions off of that. So whatever he's giving out doesn't mean shit because he's making money from it. If you look at it from a different angle, you're like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense. That's TMZ. They know what they're doing. They're paying sources and they're getting stuff like this. They got into an argument while in a taxi returning home from a bar in Brooklyn. The girlfriend saw another woman texting Majors. This is the report. And she confronted him trying to sneak a peek at his phone. We're told the alleged victim, girlfriend, claims that Majors got mad and that he allegedly grabbed her hand, allegedly slapped her. Claims he put his hands on her neck during this. Our sources say the woman was dropped off somewhere and that Majors spent the night elsewhere. Appears the girlfriend went to police the following morning, and reported a crime. So it happened last night, and this morning she went forward. So where do you think that's coming from? That's coming from police. That story is her report of the event to the cops. And the cops sell it to TMZ. That's exactly how this gets out with all that information. So the laceration behind the ear, redness and marks to her face. Taken to area hospital, stable condition. He's out of jail. So that's yeah. So he was allegedly texting another woman, and boom, and then this whole thing started. Wow. I mean, guys, it's just it's just crazy. It's just a crazy night. Marvel can go beyond recasting Kang and pivot to a big bad antagonist. Animotion, the problem though is that you'd have to just reboot so many things that you'd have to it's not that easy to turn the ship around, right? I mean, once that thing's going in one direction, you can't just flip it. I mean, look what they had to do with Wakanda Forever when Chadwick died. You had to all of a sudden go, what are we going to do? We're going to recast T'Challa? No, we're not. And then you know what happened with that. A lot of people are angry that didn't happen. So when you already start going down a path, it's very hard to turn around and go the other way, right? This is not some nimble, agile little boat. This is a gigantic freighter that is headed towards port, and you're asking it to swivel and to recast you can't do it. It's not that easy. This involves a shit ton of emergency meetings happening right now in Manhattan Beach, down at Marvel Studios. They are having meetings, and trust me when I say the Disney folks are down the street. If I walk down to Disney right now, which is usually dark on a Saturday night at 7:40, if I walk down literally like 3 blocks to the Disney offices, the lights would be on in the main Dorf building right there. That's where all the major offices are for Walt Disney Studios. And I'm telling you, the lights are on tonight. They're all having a meeting, and they're having a teleconferencing meeting between Manhattan Beach and Marvel and Disney, going, what the fuck do we do? What do we do with this? And that is the ramifications of allegedly Jonathan Majors grabbing his girlfriend and choking her in a cab. The ramifications are massive for Hollywood. And that's the absolutely compelling part of this for me, is yes, there are people involved here, but we're also talking about multi-billion-dollar franchises that are now in jeopardy because of the alleged actions of Jonathan Majors. That is why everyone is sitting around talking about this tonight on Twitter, on wherever you are. You're here, and I appreciate you guys being here on MMT on this rare Saturday night. It's now at 1.2, so we are going up about 100,000 views per moment. Let's see if he has any. I don't think he has an update. He says, if you're following me for the Majors thing, fair warning, I tweet 99% of the stuff's baseball. Yeah, they're not there for that, Tim. They're there for this. Let's see if there's, let me go down. Let's go down and see. Valerie Complex is like, mute this for your own sanity. That is good advice, Valerie. Very good. If this is known around the broader NYC community, why hasn't anyone spoken out about it? I'm just curious. Folks are uncovering subtweets about it. Let's see if there's more. Let's see, subtweets. No, I'm talking about Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, yes. Exposed decades. Yes, exactly. It took forever because people didn't feel comfortable coming forward. Yes, and he's the face of Army recruiting. If you think you're going to be destroyed by coming out with allegations against someone who is super powerful, right? So Jonathan Majors' power in Hollywood when he was in The Last Black Man in San Francisco is infinitesimal compared to his power now coming off, whether you liked it or not, Ant-Man 3 and Creed 3 and heading into Magazine Dreams just purchased by Searchlight. His power in Hollywood is so much stronger that you don't think that the people in Jonathan Majors' team, that if you come out with these allegations with no one behind you, that you're not going to get decimated, you're going to get nuked. And that is why now that the force field is down, now that the floodgates have opened, whatever you want to use for your cliche, that is when it's going to get ugly. Because people are going to go, oh my God, now's my chance to take it. Let's go. I've been bottled up and I am now going to unleash what I know. Odd timing, not saying it's untrue, just interesting timing to say this. Not during Lovecast Country, not during Harder They Fall, not during Ant-Man. No. That's not a good tweet. That's not a good tweet because the reason that Tim is saying this is because the allegation happened this morning. Whoever this Jen Aries house of, oh, by the way, I'm on the, I'm sharing the wrong tweet. This tweet right here, here it is. Odd timing, not saying it's untrue. Interesting timing. No, it's not interesting timing. I almost feel like jumping in and saying something to this person right now. Should I? He got arrested for, no shit. I'll like that tweet. I don't have time to tweet. Oh my God. This is why Twitter makes people go crazy. Interesting timing. Not during Harder They Fall, not during Ant-Man interviews, not during Creed 3. How about during the day that he allegedly choked a woman in a cab, you idiot? Who is this idiot? Oh my, no wonder they have 166 followers. Oh, these are the dumb, literally sub IQ minus 50. I got to deal with these people on Twitter. God, that's such a terrible tweet. It's 48 likes. Good Lord. Are some people really that dumb? I mean, how can you be that stupid in life? Here's one. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay, I don't know what that says. I'm going to pass out of that. But seriously, some people are just dumb. I mean, let's just be straightforward with that. We assume a lot of people are, high IQ, very intelligent, and then you read something like that and you're dumb. The reason he came out with it today is because he allegedly choked a woman in a cab, you fool. Good God. Some people don't like to see their favorites have negative stories going around them, so prepare to see them play mental gymnastics. That's the other thing. It's a great point, Shay Hartley. It's a really good point. Here's what I always talk about here in MMT, and it's one of my number one things. Don't ever be so fastened to whatever it is in your life that you can't see another angle with it. And I know you guys are all like, says the guy who thinks Babylon's the worst movie ever made and can never see it another way. But I use it usually with politics, right? So whether you're left or right, and I am absolutely as dead center cut as you can get. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. Talk about the middle America. That's as middle as it gets. It's a test market for everything known to man because it is like where normal, average American person lives. I am center. But if you're too far left or you're too far right, you can never see the other side. I always like to look at the whole picture. So if these allegations are out there, could it be true? Of course it can be true. We're not saying it is true. We're saying that it could be true. Why couldn't it be true? Just I can love him as much as I think he's great. I told you guys, I've been saying nothing but positive things about Jonathan Majors, certainly in Creed 3. I mean, he's an absolute, for me, Jonathan Majors in Creed 3 is a legit supporting actor candidate. And I've said that. Not like a goof kind of, no, a legitimate supporting actor candidate for his work in Creed 3. But this is, hold on, 1.2. It's got to be 1.3. Come on, refresh for me. Give me 1.3. No, it's still 1.2. Slowing down. If you guys see more tweets, let me know. Let's take some more comments here. About 90 minutes of Babylon was quite good. The other night was laughably bad. I wouldn't even say 90. I would say like 20 minutes of Babylon. 20 minutes. Hold on, Ken. This hurts the Flash movie because if Majors gets dropped, people will call Hollywood hypocrites for Ezra still getting a major release. Disney Marvel's decision affects DC now. Great point, Ken Murray, my old movie buddy in Boston. We saw so many movies together there at the Boston Common AMC. Let's go. 100% true, because if now Majors is put in timeout, everyone's going to say, what about Ezra Miller who chokeslammed the woman? Let's watch that one more time. Let's watch Ezra chokeslamming a woman. Hold on. Here it is. For those of you who missed, I can't believe a lot of you never saw the chokeslamming a woman. Appears to be. What do you mean he appears to be? She literally goes down to the ground.
Learn it? Did you want to fight? Is nothing new?
He says, you want to fight? And then,
Whoa, bro.
now listen, he didn't totally throw her, but he's still like, it's physical. It's an absolute forceful, violent action. His head's like this, and he's shoving her into the ground, and his friend's like, whoa, this is real. So if Ezra Miller is allowed to be in the Flash after that video we just watched, then no, I don't want to watch whatever's next. Let's go back and watch it one more time. If Ezra Miller's allowed to be in this thing for this, then right? I mean, that's kind of the thing. So that's a great point. And we were saying before, how was Ezra Miller not canceled for this? Can anyone explain how Ezra Miller was not canceled for what we just saw? Anybody? Come in and say it. Come in. There's no way. There's no way that you can tell me, okay, wait, let's find out. Saigonisa, I'm going to hopefully say that, and apologies if I butchered it. Ezra's situation was different because 95% of his BS came after Flash was shot. No, this was during, was it not? This choke shit was during. I'm pretty sure. Hold on, what was the date on this? Give me a second. The date on this, I believe it was 2020. There it was. It was right in the middle of COVID. The reason that this film, I remember this now. The reason this thing got pushed aside, it was in the middle of us being told that we couldn't leave our houses. So everyone was worried about COVID's going to kill everybody. Oh my God, you're all going to die. And in the middle of that, you had this. And when you have all that hysteria that we had to live through for 2 years, then this kind of thing got wiped under. But listen, why are we not talking about Ezra doing this?
You want to fight?
I like Ezra Miller. I'm just saying, is he choking a woman? Yeah, that's what I just saw. I don't know. I like Ezra Miller. I'm just here's my thing. I don't know. I think you're right. I said that, but I'm telling you, at what point does bankability offset allegations? Right now, it's not gonna happen. I mean, right now, you can't have Jonathan Majors show up on your set on Monday. You just can't. That's all. You just can't do it. There's no way that we can do that, because it puts everybody in jeopardy, and all the work that we do is in serious trouble. Yeah, if he's in Loki season 2, did it wrap? Yeah, I know he's in it. So Alan, I'm not sure if he is or isn't, but I mean, he's in it. But if it wrapped, then yeah, they're screwed. MCU has two options: recast Kang, lay low, start shooting, play off the angle, make Kang a live spectacle, having the actor playing him pretty much an a-hole. I mean, yeah, but This isn't that. The problem is that, from a PR perspective, right? Um, okay, here's Cole. I like Colby a lot. Let me just see. Hold on. It's fine. Colby, listen, if Colby were here, I would absolutely bring him on. Colby's saying, y'all get one comment, then you get B till facts come out. Understand truth is all that matters, sending love to the victim and grace everyone around. Yes, yes, yes. The problem is now that we have tweets like Tim's that are coming forward. I think what's going to be interesting to see happen here is in the next 24 hours is how many more stories come in about Jonathan Majors, because right now we're only playing with obviously the allegation and his arrest in New York City, and now this Tim saying that he's been doing this for a long time. It's really bad. It's a bad situation. I think at the end of the day, as we wrap the stream here tonight, because frankly I'm exhausted, and I'm sure you guys are too. It's late for some of you. For me, it's only 7:30, but we go to bed at like 9 when we don't do streams. Tomorrow night live, talking about box office and back to normal. Of course, we'll address this, but this was kind of just like a breaking news MMT. You can't go forward with Jonathan Majors right now. Marvel has to put a pause on anything with him, and we just have to wait and see. But we're in the middle of the storm. And I will say this as we wrap. When you're in the middle of something, it always looks darkest, right? And so right now it looks terrible for Jonathan Majors. I'm not going to come on here right now. Certainly not going to tell you tonight on a Saturday night live that he's done, because he's not. But Jonathan Majors needs to go away somewhere and disappear for at least a month. Let this die down. Let your reps spin as much as you can. I don't know what else you can do, but you need to get distance. That's what we talked about with Ezra Miller when all the things happened. You need distance. If you do not have distance, then what's going to happen is that it's going to constantly come up again and again and again. You need more stories to come in from the news cycle. And right now, this is white hot. This is as hot as it gets. It's the only thing anyone's talking about. And Twitter is driving the shit out of this. I mean, when you get to a situation where everybody on a Saturday night is not even talking about the March Madness, they're talking about this. He needs to disappear. He needs to go away for just for literally weeks. I don't know if it's months. We don't know yet. Hold on, let me just get the latest. Let's close one more time. Just get the latest. Ezra Miller's trending. Newsmax. Why is Newsmax trending? Hold on, let me just see. Since we're here, let's just see, why is Newsmax trending? Are they saying something? No. Okay, no, that's not. Something else. We don't care. Hold on. Why is Jonathan Majors not the number one? Oh, there it is. It wasn't showing up. Marvel is the number 2 thing. I mean, I'm not going to read this tweet, but I'll leave it up there. Yeah, there's that. I mean, listen, we just said that they're screwed. They're totally screwed going forward. Marvel is in bad shape. Yeah. And listen, Josh Brolin, okay? We said that. I know Marvel's kicking themselves over this scene right now. Isn't that the truth? It's just sad. It's sad. It's a sad night because for everybody, for the victim, for Jonathan Majors, for you never want to see someone take a fall from grace like this. Kusma, thank you very much for the stream. It was fun. Not for Majors, no, it wasn't, but appreciate you guys being here. We're back tomorrow. And thanks for being here, guys. Support the channel. We're back tomorrow, 9:00 regular time for our box office discussion. We'll see where we lead. 24 hours from now, we might have a different situation. I don't know. Maybe something else comes out, but it probably will be more bad stuff. If more people take the approach and all these if there's more Tims out there and they start to say this guy was doing this at NYU, at Juilliard, at all this, back in 2012 before he, made his big break, and he was just, up and coming, and he was learning the craft, and then we find out he was this terrible person there, then Marvel's really up shit creek, like to a point where they're going to have to recast, because one thing is problematic, but when it becomes systemic and it's been going on, for 10 plus for a decade and no one came forward, then everyone's going to pile on and they're going to say it's another Harvey Weinstein situation, right? This is a good way to end here. It's a very sad night. It is. It's a sad night. No one should be happy by what's happened here, and hopefully, uh, the best, whatever the best is, we hope that happens. I guess that's how we'll wrap here tonight. Back here tomorrow, MMT live 9 o'clock from Los Angeles. Eric Weber saying good night. And we'll see you again tomorrow night for the box office show and everything else on our big Sunday night spectacular. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon on MMT. Good night.